So we're joined by Jerry Thornton. Good to have you. Under these circumstances, though, I know how you're feeling.
Would it be awkward if you just kind of held me throughout this? If we could just
if you need me to hold your hand at any point.
Yeah. No, it's good to see it, but as I say that, I feel like when you say that at a wake and you have to immediately say, I mean, you know, not under these circumstances, but it's good to see. I'm sorry for your loss.
It is rare that the New England Patriots lose a player. Don't want to say in his prime, although he was playing at a pretty high level right up to the last game we saw Rob Gronkowski play.
How about prior to the age of 30? And he's retiring. And look, it shouldn't be a shock, and yet here I am shocked. Like at the end of the season, I was putting it at maybe 50-50. I did an appearance in my book the other day. A guy said, "What do you think is Gronk going to come back?" And I said, the more we wait, and we're now almost, as it was 7 weeks out from the Super Bowl, it seems like the odds get better that he's coming back. And then he dropped this emotional bomb on us.
A lot to get into. The first thing I want to get into is it just physical? I mean, has he just been so beaten down? Or do you think there's anything else beyond the physical that is keeping Rob Gronkowski from coming back and playing this season?
I think it's absolutely the physical. And had he retired after last year, where he was doing a little bit of a Hamlet act, debating whether or not he was going to do it, I think it would have been wide open for people to say it's because he's bitter and he doesn't like the fact that the coach called him out in front of the team in training camp about the pliability or whatever. No, I think it's just we saw how he played this year, and he was struggling once again to stay on the field. His play did decline, and I think just ultimately, to his credit, I guess, he doesn't want to be that guy in a hospital, Johnny, walking with a walker with tennis balls on the bottom when he's 35.
You know what's going to come up, and it's going to be talked about even more as the season progresses, if there's any sort of offensive struggle. But Willie McGinnis, of all people, is the one who said, you know what, people in Rob's camp have referenced the fact that he may retire and come back as the season progresses. Do you hold out hope for that? Do you think it's possible? 1,000,000 shot,
but like they said in Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance. You know what? Now you just cheered me up, because all day since this announcement dropped, I've been like, remember the part in Lion King where Simba's trying to get Mufasa to wake up? I've been that in human form. Like, it's been hard to form words until I just saw you. I'm pretty much, you could replace me with just a crying face emoji, and this would be the same. But now that you're talking about that Willie McGinnis thing, I'm starting to make my comeback. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Willie.
I'm here to lift you off the mat. You know, it's an interesting legacy, because Rob is perceived, and I said it in the story you just saw, by a lot of people like, oh, he's a big meathead. But we know better. He's absolutely not. Everybody in that locker room respects him for the way he prepares for a game mentally.
Right.
He's never not sharp. He knows exactly what he's doing on the field on every play, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
Sure, and the way he's conducting himself off the field has been just pure fun. You know what I mean? Like harmless fun. And yeah, there's been a lot of hand wringing from the the old men who yell at clouds on sports radio because he's dancing in a club, or he's body slammed a buddy of his in a club. People who have been part of that scene, that party scene. I have a neighbor who went on the Gronk ship. Her and her daughter
went on the party boat.
Yes, exactly, and said he was on time all the time. He had time for the fans. He wasn't a drunken idiot. She's not sure that there was anything but water in his glasses. So, yeah, I loved that about him. I think he was one of the few guys who had a bigger impact off the field, just in terms of his profile, than on the field, and he's a Hall of Famer.
And might we say he might be the only likable national Patriot?
I guess, although if you had to stop him, you didn't find him all that likable. And can I say something about the people who are inevitably going to say that this means the end for the Patriots? Those doomsday cultists who have been counting down the end of days like the Hale-Bopp Comet crowd. If you think this is going to be the end for this dynasty, you are living in a dream world, okay? Let me remind you, they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago without Gronk. The year they beat the Falcons, he played in 8 games. Really, 4 of those games, he was kind of a decoy or whatever. They played with a shadow of him this year and also won a Super Bowl. So dream on if you think this is the end, that this team can't recover from this.
Well, are you prepared to go down the path of what do they do? What do they do?
If you're going to need to draft a tight end, fortunately, this is the year to do it. This is a very strong draft class, and I think it's going to have to be through that. I mean, you know, whether that means move up in the first round or they sit at 32 and they take the best guy available. Let us not forget, Jermaine Gresham was drafted like 21 slots ahead of Gronk. So this team has a genius for being able to evaluate college talent, and that, I think, is where the next Gronk is going to have to come from.
Well, there are coping groups if you need to get in touch with me to get a number to figure out where to go to just soothe yourself. Let me know. But in the meantime, we appreciate you joining us.
Your thoughts and prayers aren't doing any good at this time. Save them for something else. No, thanks very much. This has been an important part of my therapy.